to live streaming. This isn't my first live stream. This is my second live stream, but this is my actual first live stream actually using OBS. So I am like a couple minutes late, but I actually thought I was live. I was talking to you guys for a couple minutes and then realized I wasn't actually live. I think I'm live now. So if I am live, make sure you let me know in the comments because I'm not 100% sure I'm doing this right. I'm actually learning as I go. Hopefully I'm doing this right now. Okay, so I see some people saying, look at that, he's live. Awesome, hi. Okay, so I must actually be live now. I actually did speak for like 2 minutes while not actually live. So again, this is my first time ever streaming using OBS. Not my first live stream using OBS. So this should be fun. It could be a total disaster because I don't go live often when I make videos on YouTube. I usually have the benefit of editing. So what you're gonna notice is that I do tend to ramble. And when you watch my YouTube videos, I do a lot of rambling and then I get to go and edit out all the rambling and just get to the point. When I do live streams, there's probably going to be a little bit more rambling. So hopefully that's all right with you guys. I am going to be kind of doing an Ask Me Anything throughout. So feel free to pop your questions in the chat as I go. And every once in a while, if you see me look over here, that's because my chat is streaming right here. And I'll be looking over there to see if you guys have any questions as I go. Cool. Let's see. We're live. You're live. What's up, everybody? Tom Blake, good to see you here. Joel Moldano, Rusty, James. Awesome. Cool. We're good to go. So my sort of agenda is going to be sort of freeform, just hang out, have some fun. I want to generate some images live, show you some of my workflows for creating things like YouTube thumbnails, play around with some of the various AI image generator tools, test some cool prompts that I've seen on Twitter, and then the whole time we'll be answering questions. And feel free to ask me anything about AI art, anything about YouTube, anything about AI in general. If I know the answer, I'll do my best to answer it. Alrighty, what do we got over here? Awesome. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna jump into walking through how I make YouTube thumbnails. I've made some videos in the past, but this workflow has changed a little bit over time. I've added things in like Photoshop generative fill. I use that as part of the workflow now. I use Leonardo more often than I used to. So I'm going to walk through the process. I don't have a ton of ideas for thumbnails. So if you guys have ideas for thumbnails that you want to see me try to generate, I'll try to generate them live on stream. It's always fun to challenge myself. I tell people when I'm in person at conferences and things like that, that I feel like I can generate almost any image you can imagine with AI now. So it'd be fun to kind of put that to the test and challenge myself. I'm sure some of you will manage to stump me and there'll be some things that I can't actually manage to generate with AI. And we'll see how it goes. So one of the videos that I'm working on right now is a video about swapping your face in videos, right? So I've talked about stuff where you can swap your face in images, right? I've made videos about how to use Dream Booth to train your image in your likeness into Dream Booth. I've made videos about Insight Face Swap for Midjourney, where you can swap your face directly in Midjourney. So I want to learn how to do it where you swap your face in videos. We make a whole video. I could take a TikTok dancer and have that dancer dancing around on video, but it's my face on that TikTok dancer. So, you know, some of the kind of fun, ethical, deep fake kind of stuff. I want to make some videos around that in the future. So I figure maybe I'll make some thumbnails on this video for that. That's sort of my first idea for a thumbnail to generate. But again, I want to see some of your ideas. I won't be looking at the comments the whole time, but I'm going to glance over every once in a while and read and see what you guys got for me. So to start, if I was making a video about how to swap my face on another video, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to do for a thumbnail, I usually come over to our good friend ChatGPT here and ask for concepts for a thumbnail. So I'd probably do something like, so first of all, before I show you this, I do have some additional context over here in my custom instructions on ChatGPT. So if I click on custom instructions, you can see I put some details in here. I'm based in San Diego, California. I'm a full-time YouTuber who makes my income through AdSense revenue and sponsorships. My YouTube channel is all about the latest news and advancements in tech with a heavy focus on artificial intelligence. I can talk about AI, videography, cinematography, photography, tech, and storytelling for hours. I have a goal of passing 1 million subscribers on YouTube and being the go-to authority on the latest AI tech tools for creators, entrepreneurs, and for productivity. So I have that context here. And then how would you like ChatGPT to respond? Skip the formalities about being an AI chat model. Address me as Matt. When a long explanation is required, give me a long explanation. If a really short and concise answer will do, I'd prefer that. So I have this additional context inside of my custom instructions here. So when I ask it questions and you see it respond to me back saying, hey, Matt, or sure, Matt, here's the response, that's why. It's not just being creepy. It doesn't know me that well. I actually gave it that information. So I wanted to show you that before I actually get in there because that might be relevant to some of the responses that it gives. All right, so I have an idea for a video. It's all about how to swap my face with existing faces in a video. What are some concepts for thumbnails for this video? Give me at least 10. Whenever I say give me at least 10, it always gives me exactly 10, but I, for some reason, always still put give me at least 10. So while I'm waiting for it to generate that, let me see what you guys are saying over here. And thanks so much, Nick Van Ems. Do you know any auto GPTs that don't require an open AI key? I actually don't mess with auto GPTs too much. I found that most of the auto GPTs that I've played with, they're fairly ineffective still. They don't always get me to the end result that I want. However, I'm sure there are some auto GPT type tools out there where you can use things like Llama 2 and things like that won't require an OpenAI key. I just haven't played around with them yet. It's something I do plan on exploring in future videos, but I haven't done it yet. Let's see. ChatGPT for Enterprise. Did you see the news? Yep, I saw that. Seamless cat patterns. We can play with that. How to turn yourself into a baby. All right. We can play with that one. All right, cool. So let's see some of these ideas that it gave us here. So split screen, your face on one side and the swapped face on the other with a dividing line. Before and after, show a side-by-side of the original video frame and the swapped face video frame. Face in progress, show a half swapped face, like your face is morphing into the other. That one's kind of cool. Zoom and swap a close-up of a face in the video, then another close-up but with your face swapped in. These are all kind of the same concept. Timeline, represent the swapping process with a video timeline at the bottom, marking when the face swap occurs, multi-swap, reaction, tech overlay, swap button, dramatic change. I think the face in progress one is kind of interesting here. So let's go ahead and try that one. So show a half swapped face like your face is morphing into the other. So what I'll do is let's go ahead and jump into Midjourney. I actually created a brand new little room just for this live stream, so it's starting fresh. And let's prompt an image of, let's say, a man doing a dance for a TikTok video. Let's see what we get. I'm gonna make it aspect ratio 16:9. And let's see what it generates there. While it's generating that, let me take a peek over here. How can we upload Driver Sensei? Hey, thanks for the $5. How can we upload an image and get it to output something similar without much changes to it? Well, if you're using something like Stable Diffusion and Automatic 1111, that's pretty easy. If you're using something like Midjourney, that's a little bit more complicated. But they do have in-painting, which makes that easier. So we'll get into some of that in this video as well. Let's see. Why don't you have to upload specific workflow stacks? Jib Jab. Who is AI Larry? I'm not sure. All right. Face swapping for videos. Yep, there's also, so Face Fusion for face swapping. There's also Roop, which is what I've been playing around with a little bit. So many comments. All right. So we've got a few TikTok dancers here. These are interesting. Somebody said go ahead and use very subtle. I'm going to go ahead and use this this top one. That's kind of a funny image. So what I'll do is I'll upscale number 1 here, and I will do a very subtle on it to see what kind of changes it gives us here. Joel Maldano's asking if this is pre-planned. I don't have really much pre-planned other than I'm going to show off some of my YouTube workflows and answer a bunch of questions and just hang out and chat with you guys. Let's see. In Midjourney, I find it helps. Use the $5 to enable turbo mode for the live stream. I'm not sure what turbo mode is or how to enable it. I'll have to figure that out for future live streams. Let's see. What do you think? How long will Google Bard take to be used as a reliable image explanation platform? It's really not that good so far. Right now, it just seems to look at the file name and gives you some details there. Cool. So here's some very some subtle, varied images here. I kind of like this top left one. Let's go ahead and upscale this top left one. And one thing I'll do is I'll use my Insight face swap. I did make a video about this. Some of the stuff I'm going to talk about, I'm going to refer you to other videos to get tutorials on how to set them up, because if I tried to show you a tutorial for every little process that I've already got pre-set up here, this live stream will take forever. So a lot of this stuff I'm going to show you, I've already got tutorials on how to set up. But for this one, I'm going to go ahead and go to More and Apps, and I've got this InSwapper here. And if I click on this, I've already got my face pre-trained into this, so it'll try to actually put my face on this one. It doesn't usually work very well. That's what I got out of it. So not amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this image. I'm going to go ahead and just download it. I'll just save it to my desktop for right now, just to keep it simple. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this one up inside of my Stable Diffusion Automatic 1111. Now, this is one of those things where I've got 2 separate tutorials that I recommend you watch. So if you're watching this and you have no idea how do I got this point here on the screen, there's 2 tutorials you need to watch. The first one is Stable Diffusion. Watch this one, install Stable Diffusion locally. That'll show you how I got Stable Diffusion installed on my actual computer here. You could also use something like Run Diffusion to run this in the cloud. And then the other one is, let me see, Inject. Inject yourself into the AI and make any image with your face. This is one where I trained a custom model here, and it's trained on my face now. So when I do generate images, it will generate the images with my face in them. So let's go ahead and pull in this image that I just created here. So I'm going to go to the image to image, and we're going to start here. And let me go find the image that I just downloaded. It's on my desktop. So here it is. I'm just going to go ahead and pull this image in right here. Oops, I actually want it in Paint, not image to image. So I'm going to go ahead and swap over to this tab that says in Paint and pull it into this one here. And so now I've got this image inside of my Stable Diffusion Automatic 1111. And what I like to do to start is just interrogate the clip. Let Stable Diffusion figure out what it thinks this clip's prompt would be. While it's doing that, let me see what you guys said over here. Hey, I love the content. Thank you. Let's see. Thanks, Vladislav. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name right, but I appreciate it. Hey, Matt, did you see the researchers from ETH Zurich came up with? It's called Graph of Thoughts, like Tree of Thoughts. Shout out from Switzerland. Hey, thanks. No, I haven't actually looked at that yet, so I will check that out. Graph of Thoughts. Let's see. I'll open that in a new tab, and we'll take a peek at that in a little bit. So this is what it thinks this image looks like. A man in a suit jumping in the air in a room with wooden floors and windows with his arms outstretched. And then it's got some artist names in here, 8K, a tilt shift photo, kitsch movement. So now I want this to be my face instead of this guy's face. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on this to get a bigger selection tool. And then I'm just going to like mask out the guy's face right here, just like this. So now it's masked out. And if I come down to my settings, there's a few settings I'm going to change. I'm going to use just resize, latent upscale. I'm going to switch this to only masks, so it only messes with my masked portion up here. For sampling steps, I'm going to jump it up to 40. And then for my sampling method, I usually either use Euler A or the DPM++ 2M chorus. So let's go ahead and start with Euler A, see how that does. I'm going to do a batch size of 4, so I get 4 variations. GFC scale, I'm going to bump it up a little to 0.75. This is how closely it matches the prompt up here. Denoising strength, I'm going to take this down a little bit. This is how much it sort of uses the original image as your, how much it changes the original image. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that down a little bit so it kind of adheres to the original image a little bit more. And then my actual code word here is Dominic Cooper person in a suit. And the reason I use Dominic Cooper is because I actually heard that when you use a celebrity's name that looks somewhat like you as your sort of code word to get your prompt to generate, it works a little bit better. So if I look up Dominic Cooper, I actually didn't know who Dominic Cooper was, but when I looked him up, that's what Dominic Cooper looks like. So I guess some people think I sort of look like Dominic Cooper. At least I used some tool that told me I looked like Dominic Cooper. So that was the keyword that I used when I trained these images, was Dominic Cooper. And now if I click generate, it's going to try to swap just the face portion. And I put this in parentheses just to sort of get some extra weight on this portion of the prompt. So now if I click generate and wait for it, hopefully it doesn't crash my OBS here. You can see as it's generating, it's starting to swap it out with my face. So there's one of them. There's another one. That's not too bad. Here's another one there. And there's another one there. They're not amazing. I can always turn on this restore faces and see if it generates something a little bit better, see if it cleans up the face a little bit. Every once in a while, you get just wonky ass pictures like this one. So yeah, sometimes you get stuff like that. It just happens. That's just stable diffusion for you. We got this one, that one where my head looks like out of proportion. That one's not too big. I'm not a fan of that one because of the possible memes that could be generated around it. Let's go ahead and generate some with this DPM++ 2M chorus here. And click generate. Let's see, looks nothing like you, yeah. The space swapping is pretty wild. Every time I've tried to run stable diffusion while live, it always crashed my OBS. Yeah, luckily I'm still doing pretty good. Right now, are you running on a 4090? I'm actually running on a 4080, but it seems to be holding up pretty well so far. Let's see, stable diffusion, such a black box, not enough credits, so I get long pauses. All right, so here's what we got when I switched to this other sampling method here. There's that one, yeah, that. Maybe I'll play around with this one here. That one's not too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and save this image to my desktop as well. Oops, let's see. Let's save it right here. And then one tool I like to use, hopefully this doesn't crash my computer as well. I have this tool called Topaz Photo AI, which is an upscaler. And for some reason, it wants me to activate it again. I feel like I have to activate it every time I do this. Let me pull it off screen so I'm not accidentally showing any login detail. Oh, it just says success, so it reactivated for me. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in the image that I just created. This one here. I'm I'm going to pull it in and upscale it a little bit with my Topaz AI upscaler. Should clean it up a tiny bit. This also uses some GPU resources, so hopefully this doesn't crash anything. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save this version. I'm going to save it straight to my desktop as well. And then what I like to do, so now I've got this version that's upscaled. It's slightly cleaner. But what I like to do now is I like to use Photoshop's generative fill. So I'm going to open up Photoshop here. Let me just pull it out of the way so I can just drag and drop this in. So now if I just drop this in here, I've got this open in Photoshop now. And so if there's any little areas that I want to clean up a little bit, I like to clean them up in Adobe Photoshop here. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and clean up around the hair a little bit. There's kind of some funky stuff going on the hair. So you can see right here, there's like some ghosting or whatever you call it going on around the hair. So if I kind of select this area right here, click Generative Fill and Generate, it's going to generate some other alternatives that hopefully look a little bit cleaner. So I've got that. It doesn't really look like my hairstyle. I'm going to generate some more. I didn't really like any of the ones it generated. Let's see. Yep, so I'm using a 4080. Let's see. What else do we got? Have you tried Roop? Yep, I've played around with Roop a little bit. I plan on actually making a video around Roop, so that one should be fun. So I'll go ahead and use this one just to kind of keep this video flowing here. I don't like this little like white glisten that I've got going on my lip, but I won't get into why, but I don't like it. So I'm going to go ahead and select this area here, click Generative Fill, and Generate to try to clean that up a little bit. Let's see. I could be a stunt double for Dominic Cooper. All right, so that kind of cleaned that up a little bit, but it still looks kind of ugly. So I'm going to go ahead and generate again. Have you ever received an image from Midjourney and then get told that the image can't be used because it violates Midjourney's nudity policy? I haven't had that really been an issue with me, although I just got this on Generative Fill where it wouldn't generate it because it said there was an issue. So here's the original. Here's what it generated. I think the original still looks better. I just don't like the little like white like saliva looking thing on my lip there. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and try to clean this up a little bit more here. Let's just go ahead and click Generative Fill on that again. Hopefully it doesn't think it's doing any, there's any issues with it. See, I get this a lot with Photoshop Generative Fill. Generated images were removed because of violations. So oftentimes, even though it's fairly harmless, it thinks that it's something nasty on here. All right, well, since I'm doing it sort of like a face swap anyway, I'll just use what I've got and show you what I do with this image from here. Oops. So I'm going to go ahead and export this. I'm just going to do a quick export as a PNG. Once again, I'll just save it to my desktop here. And then just to keep things simple, I'm just going to open it up in Canva. I'm going to create a design in Canva, make a YouTube thumbnail here so it already sizes it up for me right. And then inside of Canva, I'm going to pull this new image that I just created right here into Canva. I'll just drag and drop it straight into Canva like this. And then I'll set this image as my background. And then I'm going to pull the original image in, which was this one. So now if I pull this original image in, like so, now I've got both of these images, but I can actually center this. Let's see. If I kind of go like half like this, and then pull this over and then bring it up to size, you could start to see that I'm getting that like blend between the two images. This is like just a super simple, basic way to do it. So now there's the kind of difference as I swipe between them. So I could kind of do this sort of thing where it's swiping between the two and you can see it's sort of generating my face. So if I was doing this kind of concept of a face in progress, show a half face swap face like it's morphing into the other, that's probably how I would do it right there, is something like that. Maybe even zoom in a little bit more so that that's more prominent in the image. So let's go ahead and zoom this in so I'm taking up more of the screen here. And then I'll do the same thing on this one. Like this. So now we've got this kind of swap and it's a little bit more zoomed in. Let's see, but I don't think it's the same size. So let me bring it bigger. Too big. See, this is the problem with doing this stuff live, is that I usually take a long time to do this stuff. Let me zoom out a little bit. So it lines up like this, a little bit better. And then I would kind of just do something like that to get it like a half and a half sort of swap. And then maybe, let's just line that up a little bit better. And then maybe put like a line right down the middle. Just, you know, something like this. So you can actually, so it's a little bit more defined. So that's a real basic thumbnail that I might do. Something like that, where you can kind of see it swapping into my face. That's kind of that workflow there. I'm going to read some comments here, see what you guys are talking about. Let's see. What about knocking out the background or changing to a different background? Yeah, so let's go ahead and I'll show you that. I actually just do that. The easiest way to do that for me is just to do it straight inside of Canva here. So if I click on my whole image here, click edit image, they actually have a built-in background remover. So I would select that, and 9 out of 10 times I don't need to do anything else. It just kind of works well for it. So if I give it a second here, you'll see it'll just pull that background out. Let's see. And there you go. So now it's removed the background. You can see it sort of messed a few things up here. So simple, I'll just click on this like restore button here and then show original image. And I could see which parts it screwed up. So now I could kind of zoom in, do a little bit of cleanup around where it's messed things up. Let's go ahead and, you know, do this kind of thing here to clean it up a little bit. Obviously, I'm not, you know, doing this perfect because I'm on a live stream. And if I try to do this perfect and be too crazy with it, it would take me all day long. But I would just kind of clean up a little bit like this. That looks horrible. Let me undo some of that. But that's pretty much how I would do that. It's like a real simple process. And then once I bring in a background, some of these little mistakes aren't as noticeable. So if I go to my uploads here and let's just find like a colorful background. Let's take this and then set this as background. Oops. All right, what did I just do here? Where's my layers? So here, let me just do that again real quick. So if I go to uploads, I'll set this as like a colorful background here. Set that image as a background. Let's pull this image in here and then edit image, background remover. And there you go. There's me over the background like that. And then what I would do oftentimes just to make myself pop out of the background a little bit, I'd come to edit image, shadows, glow. And then I would edit the glow here, maybe set this as like a white, and then pull the transparency like all the way up, pull the blur down, and then make it the blur a little bit bigger just so it kind of pops. And I do that kind of stuff just so it kind of pops off the image a little bit better. And I could do all this stuff in Photoshop, but I just find Canva to be so easy and it automatically sizes everything. And then I would just go text, and then I would put like a heading here, and I would say like jumping in the woods or whatever. And then click on effects, and I always put this like little background effect, change it to white. Come over here, bring the spread down a little bit. Bring the roundness down a little bit, mess with the font. I usually use this Archivo black for my text. You know, pull this up here, pull this down here, and there's my thumbnail. All right, let's see. What do you got here? Hey, Vicky, glad you found me through Social Media Examiner as well. All right, let's see. What comments do I got? Because that's the thumbnail process. You know, I also use Leonardo a lot. You can see here's some images I generated in Leonardo of some like TV studio backgrounds. Here's some news announcers that I've generated. And the process after I generate these images is pretty much the same. I'll pull them into Automatic 1111, swap out the face the way I just did it. And if you look at Canva, you can see some of my past images, right? So I've got like this image here of me in a Hawaiian shirt in a newsroom. If I show you Leonardo, you could probably find that exact like image. I think it was maybe one of these images here. No, this one right here. It was this image right here. And I just put it on this newsroom background. And that's this one here. This one, you can see this like colorful shirt here. I'm sure if I flip through Leonardo, you can see it was probably this image right here that I made in Leonardo. So I make some of my images in Leonardo, some of them in Midjourney. I kind of switch back and forth depending on my mood. I love them both, but that's that process. Let's see. What do we got over here? I'm working on some interior design project. Is there any tool I can use to generate a preview of how a space would look like given some specific objects and textures and colors? There are some tools that do that. I'm not sure if, like, if I go to like future tools, right? Let's type interior. There's a handful of like interior design tools, like reroom.ai is one of them, virtual staging. I don't have a whole lot of use cases for this. My Room Designer, Room GPT, Visualize AI, Dreamhouse AI, Interior AI, Kool-Aid. There's a lot of tools that do that. I don't personally use them a lot because I don't have like a specific use case for myself with them. But there's definitely a handful. Just go to Future Tools, search out Interior, and you'll see all sorts of tools. Some are paid, some are free, but I would mess around with some of those. Let's see. Today in history, love your content. Thank you. Old school Photoshop to fix that. Yeah, I'd probably do that too, but I'm trying to just show off some of the AI workflows that I use here real quick. Let's see. What do we got here? Saliva. Yep. Try to remove tool on your lip. You can now add just a simple dot in the prompt. Let's see. What do we got? Is that a hot dog or not? Silicon Valley. Yep. Cool. If anybody else wants me to try to generate some other thumbnail ideas, let me know the idea for a thumbnail and I will try to generate some of those ideas. Yeah, so that's a good call. Dopamine fix. Just a heads up for the free Canva users, background remover is only available with the paid subscription. That is true, but there are a ton of other background removers. So again, future tools, let's just type background. There's a handful of background remover tools on here. Let's see. Let me find some. Cutout Pro. Photo Fix, I believe, has it. And I believe the Adobe background remover is free. Background remover. So free image background remover from Adobe Express. You can actually use the free version in Adobe Express as well, and it'll work just as well. And then you can pull it into the free version of Canva. Or Adobe Express is essentially like what Canva is anyway, so you can just do it straight in Canva. I don't have any sort of like sponsorship or partnership relation with Canva, so I'm not trying to sell anybody on Canva specifically. Let's see what else we got over here. Clip Drop is the best for background removers. Okay, yeah, that's good to know. Clip Drop's actually pretty awesome. That's where I mess with Stable Diffusion XL the most. I do have Stable Diffusion XL installed on my own Automatic 1111, but I still find myself just using it straight in Clip Drop most of the time. 2024 presidential candidates. You know how far removed I am right now from the news that I'm not even 100% sure I know who the 2024 presidential candidates are? Is that sad? Let's see. Is Adobe Firefly free? Yes, Adobe Firefly is free if you use it directly on the Adobe website. To use Photoshop Generative Fill inside of Photoshop, you do have to pay for Photoshop, though. Yeah. Thank you. So let's go Clip Drop here. Let's do... Where's the background remover? Remove background. I'm going to go ahead and just pull this one of these same images in here. Let's see how this one does. So it makes me downscale it to use the free version. So let's go ahead and downscale and continue. Let's see how this one does. Yeah, this one actually, I think, did a better job than Canva did. So that works pretty well as well. What's your opinion on Splash Pro? I've never actually tried Splash Pro. So that's the clip drop background remover. The free version does a pretty good job. It does downscale the image. I uploaded my upscaled version and it downscaled it again, but I can always take this version that it generated and then upscale this new version and I would have the same end result as well. One prompt that I wanted to try that I actually came across here on Twitter that I thought was pretty cool was this one from AI Art Gallery. They did this prompt of subject made from mesh, highly detailed color, neon light outline, high quality, ultra sharp resolution. And looking through some of these ones that people generated, like Heather Cooper generated some really cool images from this prompt. We've got Tech Holla generated a really cool image from this prompt here. Some really, really cool stuff. So I wanted to actually play around with this one and see what I can generate on it. I'm going to go ahead and grab this prompt here and test it in a few different tools. On to pull it into Leonardo, paste this in here, and let's do a wolf because I like making images of wolves. And I say wolves because my last name is Wolfe, and the plural of wolf with an E is wolves, not wolves, but I know the real plural is wolves. A wolf made from mesh, highly detailed, purple neon light outline. I'm going to turn on prompt magic, make sure alchemy's on. Let's do 1024 by 768, and let's do I don't know which model to try. I'm going to use Leonardo Diffusion, and let's go ahead and generate that. The Real Bulldog says, thank you for yesterday's video. Glad you enjoyed it. That was the in-video video. Yeah. That was a fun one to make because there's some really, really cool AI tools now like InVideo where you can literally enter one prompt and it'll make a whole video. But instead of generating the videos like what Pika Labs or Runway Gen 2 do, it actually goes and searches the internet for stock photos for you. Oh, that's a pretty cool one. Let me see what this generates in Midjourney just so I can compare them real quick. Oops, forgot my prompt starter here. Let's see, any idea when Generative Fill in Photoshop beta will actually go live with high-res image Generative Fill? I have no idea. Yeah, I'm not sure on that. Trick for using Midjourney for free. Don't have any tricks for using Midjourney for free. I think they're trying to avoid people using Midjourney for free at the moment. Let's see, face swap recognition. Let's see. How would you rate Leonardo for creating logos for your brand? You know, honestly, I have not actually tried Leonardo for creating logos. I'm not actually sure which model to try. Let's go to Leonardo and see what models they have available because they have a lot more available than what I just showed off here. And let's see. Fine-tuned models. They've got so many different models. I wonder if they have one fine-tuned for logos. They've got a stickers one. Pixel art. I don't know which one to try for logos. Battle axes, isometric sci-fi buildings, shields, cute characters. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Leonardo's original purpose was to create game assets. That was what it was originally developed for. It wasn't really developed to make logos, but I imagine one of these models will probably do logos well. Like if Stable Diffusion does logos really well, we could probably generate some interesting logos. Let's see. A flat vector style logo of a wolf. Let's see what that generates for us. Here's our Midjourney version here of our Wolfe made from mesh, highly detailed, purple neon light, etc. Midjourney does a really cool job with that. I really like this bottom left one. The best image generator to use for free, probably either Clip Drop or Leonardo. Both of them are using Stable Diffusion under the head. Ideogram does a good job for logos. I haven't actually tried Ideogram for logos yet either. I believe they're on waitlist right now, so I don't know if everybody gets in. Actually, here's a decent looking logo right here. Let's go ahead and... That's actually not a bad Wolfe logo right there. That's maybe it looks more like a fox, but that's not horrible. So Leonardo does a pretty decent job with the SDXL09, but you'd probably get something very similar even just inside of Clip Drop. So if I just go to Clip Drop, Tools, let's see, which one do I want? Stable Diffusion XL. I could paste that here and generate. And 213 images in front of me. So we'll go ahead and wait and see what that generates. Let's try it in Ideogram. Ideogram also does a decent job of adding text. So a flat vector style logo of a wolf with the word wolf below it. So let's see if we can generate something that actually has the word wolf in it using Ideogram here. Let's see. Blue Willow is free as well. Yeah, Blue Willow is also using Stable Diffusion under the hood. So if you're using Clip Drop, oh, that one's actually really cool. Clip Drop's already finished generating. That one looks really, really good. I like that one a lot. That one's okay. A little too busy for my taste. Not bad. That to me is like a pretty solid looking logo. Although it does look like a sports mascot from like a high school or something. Let's see. What else we got? Is Midjourney available to download and use on Stable Diffusion? No, Midjourney has their own proprietary model, so it's not available to download. But there are people who have created their own models that are similar to Midjourney, that were, I think, trained on a whole bunch of other Midjourney images that you can download and use. Playground AI is good when you're out of your daily credits for Leonardo. Yeah, a lot of these are using Stable Diffusion under the hood. So Clip Drop is using Stable Diffusion. Leonardo is using Stable Diffusion, although they do have their own sort of pipeline where they're doing some additional extra prompting under the hood. Playground is using Stable Diffusion. I believe they might also even have Dolly in there that you can use. Midjourney is using its own proprietary model. But most of the models that are out there are actually using Stable Diffusion. So you get very, very similar stuff no matter what you're using. My favorite generator, I use Midjourney and Leonardo the most. Those are really the two that I go back and forth between. Let's see. Tools like Midjourney cost millions to build, and for some reason the investors want to return. That is very true. Yeah, they do want to return. They have said that they want to bring back a free trial on Midjourney, but with Midjourney, they've had so many people abuse the free trial where they'll just create new Discord accounts over and over again and get free trials. And then when that free trial runs out, they create a new Discord account and get another free trial. And because so many people gamed that system, they stopped allowing free trials. But I have a feeling they're working on a desktop version, so we don't need to do it inside of Discord anymore. And from my understanding, once they pull it out of Discord and we start getting a desktop version of it, then at that point, we're actually going to see some sort of free trial again. So we'll just have to wait and see. Because once it's out of Discord, they'll have a little bit more control of how the free trials actually work. What's the best model to use to create realistic looking product photos? A mug, chair, or something like that. I mean, any of them will create fairly realistic stuff. Stable Diffusion will create realistic stuff. Let's see. Brian Johnson, did you mean to say Wolf? It depends on what you wear. So here's my ideogram one where it actually made a logo with the words Wolf in it. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to be. But these other ones are fairly solid, and they actually got the letters right. So ideogram is interesting. It actually does a pretty decent job. And in this one, I actually did use the words Wolfe with an E at the end. I kind of like that one. That's pretty cool. I actually want like a Wolfe logo. Right now, I've got a green screen behind me because I'm redoing my background right now, and it's just a mess behind it. So I'm hiding my background with a green screen at the moment. But I do want to get like a cool like Wolfe logo and put it on my wall behind me. So I'm actually still looking to design something. Hey, Riley Brown's on the call. Thanks for the tip. I appreciate it, man. Good to see you here. Let's see. Also, looks like you could be a college mascot. Yep, for sure. I think that's the best out there. Tried Leonardo Photoreal. Yeah, Photoreal and Leonardo is really, really good. Let's see. If I go to Photoreal with SDXL. No. Okay. So if I turn on Photoreal and I do, let's just do a wolf. And I'll leave it on cinematic. Let's see how real a wolf looks using the Leonardo Photoreal. So you can't use Photoreal and Prompt Magic at the same time. So I'll just go ahead and use Photoreal, and let's see what that generates for us. Yeah, Civet AI has a bunch of models. There was somebody that was asking about, let's see, going back through the comments. There's a lot to keep up with here, so apologize for that. Eventually, I'm going to have somebody over here helping me keep up with comments, but right now I'm just doing this myself. So that's a pretty photorealistic wolf. It's looking pretty good. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to look up. So if you go to Civet AI, hopefully I have all the porn filters turned off and it's not showing me. Okay, good. Civet AI has a lot of adult content if you don't have the filters turned on. But they do have, I believe, some that look like Midjourney style. So if you do a search here on Midjourney, you can get some that are like Midjourney graffiti, anything Midjourney version 4.1, Midjourney version 4, Midjourney general style. So there are other models out here on Civet AI that you can download, use inside of your Stable Diffusion Automatic 1111. You can see I have a handful of models installed here already that I've played with. These ones are ones that I've trained on myself, one that I trained on my wife, Disney Pixar cartoon, Dream Shaper, Flat 2D, Animerge. So these are all different models that I downloaded on Civet AI to sort of get a very specific style. So if you want to generate Midjourney-ish images inside of your own Stable Diffusion, you come to Civet AI and look for it over here. Let's see. Big Muscle Man, thanks for sharing in video. Appreciate you watching the video. Let's see what else we got over here. What about creating images in fiction, like something from Star Trek or Star Wars? You can try. Midjourney will definitely do stuff that looks like Star Trek or Star Wars. Let's see. Imagine. Let's see. Who should I try from Star Wars? Let's do C3PO. Is that how you do it? C3PO? Is it -O? I'm not actually sure how they do it. C3PO in the desert with an alien moon behind him. Let's just see what that generates. Midjourney will do some of that kind of stuff for you. It's definitely trained on some images of questionable copyright, I know for sure, but it will still currently generate stuff from copyrighted things. Although I think over time they're probably gonna phase a lot of that stuff out. Let's see. What else you got? If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in, because as this stuff generates, happy to do an AMA and answer any questions about AI art, AI video, YouTube, any of the topics that I talk about. Okay, so I did it wrong, but it figured out it anyway. Ray Lawler says it's C-3PO. Luckily, it figured it out anyway, what I was trying to do, and I got an image of C-3PO that looks like it's out of Star Wars. At least the top two look like they're out of Star Wars. This one, the bottom right, looks like a zombie C-3PO. So hopefully Disney doesn't sue me for doing this on stream here. Let's see, I clicked on your link in video. Hope I got compensated. I don't believe it's an affiliate link, but they did sponsor that video, so I do appreciate it. Any sort of clicks over to in video just will probably make them want to sponsor a future video for me, so I appreciate that. Favorite models that I download. Quite honestly, I still mostly use the model that I've generated on myself here. So when I am using Stable Diffusion locally, most of the time I'm using the one that's got my face in it, because it is fine-tuned to make images that look like me. I really, really like, let's see, what's the one that I use the most outside of that? Dream Shaper. I use Dream Shaper quite a bit. It makes pretty realistic looking people as well. The Disney Pixar one's kind of fun to create kind of cartoony looking images, but those ones aren't trained with my face in them, so I can't actually inject my face into using those images when I do them. Let's see. Yeah, I finally caught a live one. Well, this is the only live one I've done. Actually, second live one I did. I did a live one with one of the creators of Deforum, and he walked us through how to actually prompt with Deforum and get some really cool videos out of Deforum. That's the only other live stream I've done on this channel. So this is my second live stream, my first one actually using OBS, and so far it's actually held up pretty well, it looks like. So excited about that. Let's see, what else you guys got? All the plans I've mentioned, I hope people are saving it. What's first prompted you to get so interested in AI? That's a good question. So I've actually been doing stuff with AI since 2021. I kind of got into GPT-3 back in 2021. I actually made a video on YouTube on a different channel. I had a business partner. We co-hosted a podcast called Hustle and Flowchart. And we actually, I think the channel's still live, the Hustle and Flowchart YouTube channel, because my co-host still runs that podcast. Joe Fear is his name. He runs that podcast. Him and I co-hosted that show. And back in July of 2021, we started talking about GPT-3 and what it was capable of and how to use it for copywriting and how to use it to create ads in your marketing. Back then, nobody cared, though. When I made those videos and we made that content about GPT-3, it was some of our least popular content. But I was still interested in AI. I kept on messing with it. I kept on playing around with GPT-3. I came across DALL-E, started to learn how to generate images with DALL-E, came across Midjourney, then came across Stable Diffusion, where I can get a little bit more granular and trained on that kind of stuff. And I was just playing with that stuff for a long, long time. And then one day I decided, this is really cool. And I haven't found a lot of YouTube videos about how to use this stuff yet. So I decided to make a YouTube video about it. My YouTube channel had been live since 2009. I've been creating content around WordPress plugins and putting interviews up and just all sorts of random content since 2009. Mid 2022, I put up my first video about how to do AI art stuff. That video was my most popular video ever. So I went, hey, let's do another AI art video. I made a second video where I showed how to train your face using Dream Booth. That video exploded, got 40,000 views in the first couple days of going live. By that point was my most popular video. Then ChatGPT came out and I went, I'm going to make a video about this ChatGPT. I made that video. That video got over 1 million views and I went, okay, AI is my niche. A, I love talking about it. B, people keep watching my videos when I make stuff about AI. So I'm just going to keep making videos about AI. So that was sort of how I got into it. I've been doing it for a long time, but only creating content about it since mid 2022. Let's see, what do we got? Matt Wolfe do turbo mode. I have no idea how to do turbo mode. I will do turbo mode if I can figure out how to do turbo mode for my next live stream. If people like this live stream and it gets views and after the fact people come back and watch this live stream and it seems to do well, my plan is to maybe do 2 live streams a month showing off different processes and different tools that I came across and all that sort of stuff. So, I will figure out turbo mode for future live streams if everybody wants to do more of these live streams. Raymond says, just wanted to express my gratitude. I've been browsing YouTube lately and came across your video, which provided the simplest and most straightforward guide to installing Stable Diffusion. Awesome. Appreciate that. Brian, take the lead from the Rush song. Has anyone been successful selling anything related to AI generated art? I have actually sold some images on stock photo using Adobe Stock and Wire Stock. It's not really like part of my business model. I just kind of did it as a test. I have maybe 30 images that I generated for sale on a few of the sites that allow AI generated stock photos. So I have done that, and I don't know, I've made maybe $200 off of it over like a 6-month period. But if I did make it like a point to sell that stuff more often and like generate images on a consistent basis, I can really see that ramping up and making a lot more money. It just hasn't been a focus. My focus is really on making content, researching, keeping the Future Tools website up to date, running my weekly newsletter. So I haven't put focus on it, but I really think you could do really well selling stock AI images if you get really good at it. What else? What first prompted you? Okay, I already answered that one. Have you tried InVideo? Yes, I actually made a video about InVideo. My most recent video before this live stream was about InVideo. I'm falling behind on the comments here, so sorry about this. What are your thoughts on the timeline for AGI? My thoughts on the timeline for AGI are very mixed. They kind of change all the time. At one point, I thought we were really close to AGI, and then I thought we were really far away from AGI. And then a couple weeks ago, I went to this conference in LA called the Artificial Conference. And somebody from the office of the CTO at Dell came up and spoke about what he called the next wave of AI. And the next wave of AI, I can't even get into explaining it. In fact, I was pretty confused while he was explaining it. Later on, somebody else sort of broke it down into simpler terms for me. And what they're creating is pretty dang close to what I think most of us will consider AGI. So I still think it's probably 4 or 5 years off, though. But I do think it's sooner than most people think. But that's just an opinion, and my opinions change very frequently. I could next week see something that makes me go, no, we're way farther off. Or I could next week see something that makes me think we're 2 weeks away. So my opinions on things like AGI are like a roller coaster. So anything I say on a video about, oh, AGI is here, just know that it's always an opinion, and my opinions change very, very frequently as I learn more. Let's see, I've learned a lot. Neck deep in storytelling with AI, with InVideo AI. How long would the middle package last someone making videos? Like how many 15-minute videos per se? I'm not actually sure. Let's see. Let me log into my InVideo account. I don't remember exactly. I don't remember what the various plans are for InVideo. So I've got the Plus plan. And what does the Plus plan get you again? So this gets you 60 export per month, 50 minutes a month of AI generation. So the middle plan gets you 50 minutes a month. So yeah, 15-minute videos, that would be, you know, three plus videos, 3.5 videos, something like that. How can I use AI art to make 3D models in Blender for a video game? And also, is it even possible to do that? Yes, it is, but it takes a long time. So there's this cool tool called CSM, Common Sense Machines, CSM.ai. So if you use this tool here, they've got image to 3D. And you can actually see the 3D showcase here of the 2D images that they uploaded. And then if you hover over it, you can see the 3D model that was generated by the 2D image that they uploaded. So this tool is probably the best I've seen to turn a 2D image into a 3D model. And you can pull this into Blender or wherever you want. And it works pretty well, but it takes a long time. From the time you upload a 2D image to the time you get a 3D mesh back that you can plug into one of these platforms, it does take like 24 hours. Like I typically would upload an image and then wait, and then the next day the 3D image will be ready. But it's pretty dang effective. Let's see, if I log in here, will it actually show? One sec, let me just pull this aside so I'm not accidentally showing login details I don't want to show. All right, so you can see some of the images I generated. I uploaded this face shot of me. This is my Twitter profile, and it generated this 3D mesh of it. I had this 2D image of me as Buzz Lightyear, and it generated this 3D mesh of it. And then I tried to upload like a real, actual image of me, and it kind of messed it up. It's not super great, so kind of funky looking. Let's see. So yes, 3D, this is a free tool as of right now, but from what I understand, it is very, very, very expensive for them to actually convert these 2D images into 3D images. So I don't imagine it'll be free for long. They are operating off of investor money at the moment, so they are allowing people to use it for free. But I imagine after a lot of people like me talk about it and other YouTubers talk about it, and there's too many people using it, it won't stay free for very long. Just a prediction there. Let's see, how can I use AI generated art to make 3D model? All right, that's the one I just answered. How can I use AI generate? Oh, that's the same question. Okay, so the same question was posted in there multiple times there. I see what's going on. As you've gotten better with prompting ChatGPT, what are some discoveries you've made that dramatically improved your results simply based on improved wording of the prompt? So what I've learned about using ChatGPT is that it's conversational. You just want to have conversations with it. I think people overvalue prompt engineering, and they should just sort of ask questions of ChatGPT. So for example, I will ask ChatGPT how to better prompt something. So let's say I'm a YouTuber and I want to grow my channel. What are some good questions I can ask ChatGPT to get great advice on growing a channel? Do that, and now it's going to actually tell me how to prompt it to get back the types of answers I want. What are some SEO practices to rank higher on YouTube? How can I effectively leverage analytics? What's the best way to pitch sponsors? How do I increase audience engagement and retention? So I think prompt engineering is really, really oversold. And I think just natural language conversation with ChatGPT is undersold. So that's sort of my thoughts on what I've learned. I think early on when I was messing with ChatGPT, I was overthinking the prompt engineering side. I was trying to put these crazy prompts like, you are a YouTube expert with millions of views, and you've done this, and you've done this, and you've done this. So please act as my YouTube consultant. And then I start asking questions after doing that initial prompt. But I find it doesn't add a whole lot of extra value from just sort of natural language talking as if I was asking a real person questions. Let's see. More live streams, please. Awesome. I'll do more live streams if you guys like this. I feel very awkward on live streams. The nice thing about actually recording videos is a lot of my rambling gets cut down into as concise of a video as possible. I feel like when I'm live streaming, I tend to be rambling a little bit more. Also, my agenda of showing off how I make YouTube thumbnails, I thought would take a lot longer. I thought I'd have probably more ideas coming in about YouTube thumbnails to try to generate. So it kind of turned into more of just a live Q&A session, which if you guys like just live Q&A sessions where I'm just on YouTube streaming and you ask questions and I go and show off tools based on the questions you answer, like that's fun for me because it's less preparation to do these live streams. Do you still use Wonder Dynamics or no? I actually still have an account with Wonder Dynamics. I haven't used it a whole lot because it's very sort of purposeful if you're going to use Wonder Dynamics. You got to have like a specific use case for when you're going to use it. I haven't really generated videos lately where I need to replace myself with a robot. I probably should cancel it and just subscribe again when I need to use it, but I still have it. Don't use it unless I have a specific use for it, though. All right. So Kitty keeps asking the same question over and over again. I think I answered the 3D model question, so I know there's a delay too, so you probably asked it a whole bunch before I responded to it. Please make a video about the prompting a game in Unity. Yeah, I'll definitely be making videos about more game development. That's something that I'm really excited to play around with more myself, both in Unity and Unreal Engine. Definitely not something I'm going to go into on a live stream yet, but yeah, in the future, I'll play around with that some more. Do you anticipate a lot of text to film companies anytime soon? In video is really the only one that I know that's doing it. I'm sure more will pop up, but Yeah, I don't know. I think what we'll probably start to see as well is some tools that kind of do a hybrid where it uses things like what Gen 2 and what Pika Labs uses behind the scenes, or uses the zero scope or model scope open source to generate both generated videos and stock, and sort of blend the two together. So you have some generated videos, some stock videos, and kind of use both of them to generate the film. If it can't find a perfect stock video for what you're saying, it will generate its own AI generated video and sort of blend between the two. I'm hoping that's sort of the next iteration. I think that'd be really cool. Best practices for prompting Leonardo and others like ChatGPT. Well, I already talked about ChatGPT. I think the prompt engineering kind of concept is sort of oversold a bit. Leonardo is using Stable Diffusion, so the more details you could put into it, the better you're going to get. But you can see here, when I use their photo reel and I just put a wolf, I got a pretty dang good image of a wolf. So even Leonardo and these other Stable Diffusion platforms are getting better and better and better at just short, easy, simple prompts, right? Like, at the end of the day, the people that are making these tools, OpenAI, who's making ChatGPT, the people over at Stability AI, who seem to be further developing Stable Diffusion and things like SDXL, the people at Midjourney, all of these various platforms, they don't want you to have to be an engineer to use their tools. They want to make their tools as easy as possible for you to use. So their goal is to not require prompt engineering. As time goes on, they want to make it easier and easier for you to just enter a prompt exactly from what you want, without having to put artist name, without having to put style types, without having to put HD, 4K, octane render, without adding all of that extra crap to it. They don't want you to have to do that. They want you to just enter a prompt and get a cool looking image. So my best advice on that kind of stuff is try with as short of a prompt as possible, but then add more to the prompt if you're not getting what you want. Because these tools are all trying to make prompting easier and easier for you so that you don't need to be a prompt engineer, right? I think prompt engineering, my thoughts on that have sort of gone back and forth as well. I think prompt engineering is always going to be a thing, but I think prompt engineers in the future are going to be the people that are sort of creating the pipelines behind the scenes, not the people generating the images using the user interfaces, right? So people like me who are trying to generate a picture of a wolf, I don't need to be a prompt engineer to generate a wolf. The prompt engineer is going to be the person who takes that image behind the scenes and adds extra details to my prompt, right? I enter a wolf, hit submit. Behind the scenes, they're adding extra prompt engineering to that prompt for me. The role of a prompt engineer is going to be the person that is doing that stuff behind the scenes and generating those pipelines. So when you enter just a wolf, they add all the extra prompt engineer details that get you a good image, if that makes sense. Let's see. I'm seeing a lot of people ask the same questions. All right, so CSM guys have said it takes about 2 hours to make a model if it's not busy. My experience has been I'll create a model before I go to bed, and then the next day it's there. So haven't actually sat around and clicked a stopwatch on it, but yeah, 2 hours is not too bad, but definitely the ones I generated took longer than 2 hours. Thanks for the news. Thanks, AMVOUSS, AMVOS. Appreciate you. Love your stuff. Grown. I'm tuning in from London. So your question, you created a video about how to use Google Earth to zoom in on locations. It creates cool videos. Can you show us how it's done? Yes. What was that tool called again? I haven't used it in a little while now. Google Earth animation tool. I'm looking it up again because I don't actually remember what it was called off the top of my head. Google Earth Studio. That's it. So if you go to Google Earth Studio, try Earth Studio. I'm going to go ahead and continue. So if I just do like a blank project here, I'm just going to do an example project and click start. You can kind of zoom in and pick where you want your animation to start. So I'm in like San Diego. So let's go ahead and zoom all the way in on San Diego here. and it looks just like Google Earth when you're using it, but you can actually create like keyframes. So I'll create a keyframe starting here and then move to a little bit later of a spot on my timeline. And let's just zoom into the Home Depot here. And let's say we just want to show the Home Depot, and I want it to be, let's see, I want it to be this angle. I'm actually clicking my middle mouse button to get this angle here. So if I click my middle mouse button and drag, it actually changes the angle on it. So I'm zooming into the trash piles behind, behind Home Depot here. And then I can actually set another keyframe here. Just keyframe everything. This one I actually need to rotate it a little bit better. I'm going to change my keyframe to this, set a keyframe here. And now if I press play on it, it should animate down to Home Depot's trash piles like that. So that's Google Earth Studio. And then what I did in my other video was I actually generated a video like this and then pulled it into Kyber AI. So if I log into Kyber here, one sec. If I log into Kyber, I should be able to find, let's see, where's my videos? I have 24 videos, but it's not loading them all. I'll just give that a second to load. Well, I pulled it into Kyber to get like a really cool effect on it, and I'll show you what that looks like in a sec. How much do you spend monthly on subscriptions? Funny you asked that. I actually did a tweet or X post or whatever you want to call about that not too long ago. Let me see if I can find it. It's about $400. I don't recommend people spend as much as I do, but I am spending about $400 on all that stuff. But I'm only spending that because I make tutorial videos. So if you're not making videos about it all like me, I would not be spending as much as I am spending. Here we go. So on July 27th, I actually made a breakdown of it. And if you add all these up, it comes out to like $450 or something like that. Let's see, are we talking about increasing CTR, YouTube thumbnails? Well, I did walk through my process of how I make my thumbnails, and my goal is always to make thumbnails that get a high CTR. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll follow the process that I showed and create 2 or 3 thumbnails and then swap out the thumbnails. If anybody's paying real close attention to my YouTube channel, which I doubt many people are paying that close, except for the people that earlier said they're trying to analyze my channel. If you're not paying that close of attention, what I'm doing is you'll probably notice a video will have one thumbnail and one title, and then like 3 hours later it'll have a different video and different title. I'm constantly swapping out images and screenshots and thumbnails to try to see which one gets the better click-through ratio. If the second one that I do gets a worse click-through ratio, a lot of times I'll jump back to the first one. Usually my second attempt beats my first attempt, but yeah, I'm constantly playing with that. So if you watch back to the beginning of the video where I walk through my entire process, I also have some other YouTube videos where I walk through the same YouTube thumbnail process. Let's see. What else we got? Let's see, custom instructions. I actually did talk about my own custom instructions earlier in the video. Is there a way to translate YouTube videos to, let's say, Spanish with AI? There are, in fact, Meta just released a new tool that does that kind of thing, called Seamless M42, I believe. Let's see. I use my own site a lot to find this stuff, just so you know. So if I look for it here, where's the Meta announcement? Here we go. Seamless M4T. So this tool will actually translate audio into any language you want. It doesn't actually maintain the same voice as you, but it will translate it for you. And they actually have a demo that you can use somewhere. Let's see. Must be on their other page about this. So let's click over their AI blog. If I come all the way down to the bottom here, they've got a hugging face demo. You can download it on GitHub, and then they've got their own on-page demo here. So I can actually show you with the on-page demo. Hello, my name is Matt Wolfe, and I am currently live streaming on YouTube. Hopefully people are enjoying this, and I'm not too rambly and unfocused. Now, I could pick any language I want. Let's go ahead and do, let's see, what did you say earlier? Spanish? Yeah, Spanish. Let's go ahead and do Spanish and click translate. It'll take a second.
Hola, mi nombre es Matt Wolfe y actualmente estoy transmitiendo en vivo en YouTube. Espero que la gente esté disfrutando de esto y que no esté demasiado desordenado y enfocado.
I don't know how that Spanish was. I used to take Spanish lessons, and I am out of practice, so I have no idea if that sounded great or not. Let's see. My experience with ChatGPT has been creating conversations with different characters, specialists, then reference back these conversations as needed. Let's see. Is aftermarket GPU required for local install of Stable Diffusion? You're going to probably want an NVIDIA like 3060 or better to be able to run Stable Diffusion on your computer. I've heard that AMD graphics cards don't do it very well. They work, but they're just really slow. And if you're going to use like a Mac, like an M1 Mac or M2 Mac, you need something like Diffusion B or a specific Mac version that works better. I know some people have managed to get Stable Diffusion Automatic 1111 to work on a Mac. I haven't played with it myself on a Mac, so I would definitely search that out on YouTube. But I'm sure there's people out there that have videos about how to make Automatic 1111 and Stable Diffusion work on a Mac. But yeah, I would say you're going to want an aftermarket GPU to make it work. If you don't have an aftermarket GPU, a great tool to use is Run Diffusion. It's a tool that will run Stable Diffusion in the cloud for you on really, really high-end GPUs, and it costs like 50 cents an hour. So if you're going to get in there and mess with it for 2 hours and generate images, you're going to end up paying $1. That's what I would recommend. If you don't have an aftermarket GPU to do it, you can use that on an iPad or an iPhone if you wanted to, because it's all doing the work in the cloud. Let's see, any advantage to ChatGPT's feature custom instructions? It just gives it some additional context, so when you're prompting stuff, it will remember what's in those custom instructions. I talked about that a little bit earlier. I gave some additional context around how I'm a YouTuber and my name's Matt, so it always says, when it responds to me, it says, absolutely, Matt, asking the right questions can be a battle, right? So it refers to me by name. It knows what I do, so when I ask questions, a lot of times it's answering them with the context of it knows that I'm a YouTuber. So that's helpful. I also told it to respond to me in as short as possible. So address me as Matt. When a long explanation is required, give me long explanations. If a really short and concise answer will do, I prefer that. So basically telling it, be as concise as possible when you can. Let's see. Make sure to say please and thank you to ChatGPT. Yeah, of course. That way, when the AI overlords take over, you're in their good graces. How can I produce art that's very high quality and then be able to print it physically for my wall? There's tons of print on demand sites, right? So if you want to create high quality, that's all just messing with it until you get what you're looking for. Leonardo creates really high quality images. You could use their photo reel to get high quality images. Stable Diffusion. Remember, there's that Civet AI site that has all sorts of models that generate really high quality images. You can download those. Midjourney can create really high quality images as well. And then once you're ready to print them, you can use a site like Printful to print it on canvas, right? If I search out canvas, you could print any images on canvas here. Like they have framed canvas and non-framed canvas. So for like $30, you could print a 12 by 12 of your image for your wall, all the way up to 24 by 36. I actually have images on my wall. If you watch my studio tour, I have images on my wall that are printed on canvas right now. They're actual photographs that I took. They're not AI images, but I used a site like this to have them printed on canvas. So Anthony says, what's your workflow stack, or have you developed one yet? I think I need a little more details around that question. So I showed off my workflow for creating thumbnails. What, more specifically, what kind of workflow are you looking for? Happy to answer. I'm not sure. That's a super broad. Trying to keep up with all the questions here. Let's see. Have you seen the new AI Explained video about Smart GPT? Not yet. I haven't watched that yet. I actually, honestly, don't watch a whole lot of YouTube videos about AI, believe it or not. Most of my AI news comes, either from the source, like a lot of the companies actually email me now to tell me about news, which has been pretty cool. I have an RSS feed that I read of all the various news websites. I subscribe to all the AI newsletters. I'm on Twitter a lot. I have an AI Twitter list of all of the latest happenings in AI. So I get most of my AI news from those places. I kind of try to avoid watching too many YouTube videos around AI, because then a lot of us AI YouTubers that are making videos about AI, we end up sort of overlapping and talking about the same stuff. So I don't really watch a lot of the other AI YouTubers on purpose. But from time to time, there's some videos that grab my attention. I go, oh, I need to watch that one. All right, what else? Philip Shane, will you be trying the new ability to fine-tune ChatGPT? Yeah, I'll probably test that a little bit. The thing about fine-tuning ChatGPT is it's so much more expensive, and I don't think fine-tuning is super necessary. A lot of what people try to do with fine-tuning is they try to get a ChatGPT that's like really dialed in for their specific use case. But if you prompt it with information that's really detailed towards your specific use case, you kind of get the same end result. So I don't really find a whole lot of need for fine tuning for a lot of my use cases, but it is something that I'd like to explore more and make a tutorial around. Let's see. I'm kind of starting at the recent questions and going backwards now because it's hard to keep up with here. Let's see. Aranim says, you spent a lot of time on YouTube before you had any major success. Have you ever thought about giving up YouTube? Definitely. There's probably like a whole year gap in my YouTube. I unlisted a lot of my older videos just because they're not super relevant to AI, and most people find my channel because of AI. So some of my older videos that were no longer relevant, I did unlist. But if they were listed, you would see I was really, really heavy on YouTube from 2009 through like 2015 with no traction. And then there was like a couple years where I slowed down and was only posting like 1 or 2 videos a year because I was just like, YouTube's not really working out. And then at the end of 2022, you see the pace really pick up again. So not only did I think about quitting YouTube for a while, I actually did quit YouTube for a while. There's definitely like a year or 2 gap in there where I posted very infrequently. Let's see. So much questions in here. Xbox Cloud Gaming is so done. Did you enter Civet AI image prompt SDXL contest? No, I haven't. I didn't know that there was a image prompt contest. I don't typically enter a lot of prompt contests. Maybe I'll play around with doing that more often. My main focus is just creating content, keeping the website up to date, and staying deep in the research. Just reading about everything I can in AI, turning around, updating future tools with whatever I learned, whatever new tools I come across, making new YouTube videos, and updating my weekly newsletter every Friday. Anything that falls out of those sort of buckets, I really, really don't spend too much time on. So I haven't really done many competitions or anything like that. Rumors that Gemini is coming out in the next couple of weeks and it'll be more dramatic than when ChatGPT came out. Do you think that's real? I don't know. I mean, I've heard some rumors. I don't know how much I trust the rumors. We'll just have to wait and see. A lot of those companies stay as tight-lipped as possible. There are some companies that send me information before the fact and then have me under embargo and say, you're not allowed to talk about this until a certain date. I do have companies that send me stuff a little bit early and swear me to secrecy before I can talk about it. Ideogram was one of those. I actually had access to Ideogram 2 or 3 months ago and have been playing with it for a little bit, but I wasn't allowed to talk about it until this week. But I haven't heard anything about Gemini. So I'm not under embargo or anything like that with that one. I just honestly haven't heard anything about it or release date. So either they're being really, really tight-lipped about it or it's just rumors. Let's see. Everyone should save social media content locally. I'll have canvas paint. Did you enter? Nope. I already answered that. I have automatic. So Skull Season says I have automatic 1111 on my Mac M1 using Homebrew, then downloading repository into a folder, then PENV, download the different weights, then use Web UI protocol to access URL. So he's basically breaking down a way to use it on a Mac M1 if you're using a Mac M1. AI Explained is the one who created Smart GPT. All right, well, I will definitely check out that video then, because if he's the one who created it, then he's probably the best source of information on it. So I would definitely check that one out. Let's see. Are you already using HyperWrite in your workflow? I'm not familiar. Am I familiar with HyperWrite? I don't think I've played with HyperWrite. That's not one. I believe I've come across it, but I don't think I've played with it too much yet. What events I can afford to go to? I'll be everywhere. That's awesome. Yeah, I was just at the Artificial Conference, and then the week before that, I was at SIGGRAPH. I highly recommend both. SIGGRAPH was amazing. SIGGRAPH was so cool. Like, they were showing off some of the research that's in the works that isn't released yet, and research that just came out, and they had the people behind the visual effects from like things like Avatar and Guardians of the Galaxy there explaining how the visual effects were done. I'm such a nerd for that kind of stuff. Let's see. Is there a way of searching your ChatGPT history? I don't believe so. There are a lot of third-party tools that are like sort of, self-proclaimed better user interfaces for ChatGPT. Some of those might do it, but I still just use the standard interface. You can see, here's my history. I don't really care. I got nothing to hide. It's really hard to go back through the history of chats. I usually just create new chats all the time, honestly. Are you going to create your own Matt GPT? It's something I'd like to do, actually. I would like to create a sort of self-trained AI model where you can ask questions that reference my YouTube videos and podcasts and stuff like that. Did you have a non-YouTube career job before? Yes, I worked at a shutter company that did like window covering shutters. I did that all the way until 2009. I quit my day job in 2009 to focus on content creation full time. So I've been a full-time content creator since 2009. From 2009 all the way up until 2022, I was big into podcasting. I had a podcast called Hustle and Flowchart. We interviewed entrepreneurs and authors and sort of semi-famous people in the marketing and business world. David Allen from Getting Things Done, Michael Gerber from the E-Myth, Robert Cialdini, who wrote the book Influence. If you're in the business marketing world, you probably know who some of these names are. If you're not in the business marketing world, you probably don't. But we had a podcast for a long time that worked with sponsors, and our main business model was getting sponsors for our podcast, doing affiliate marketing, and then we also sold a couple courses here and there on how to start your own podcast and things like that. So I was doing that type of thing from 2009 all the way up until my YouTube channel started to get more successful in 2022. When the YouTube channel started to get more successful, I decided I am going to step away from all that stuff, handed it all over to my business partner and said, you take it, run with it. I'm going all in on this. So he's still running that podcast to this day, still doing interviews. And then I'm all in now on just staying on the pulse of AI and updating future tools and writing my weekly newsletter and making content. That's it. That's my thing now. Let's see. Want to get into sports and Olympics or Paralympics? What are tools you think can be good for the real estate industry? There's actually a really cool tool that just came out from Luma AI called Fly Through. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that yet, but Luma AI's Fly Through is pretty cool. You walk around with an iPhone camera, and it almost makes it look like a stabilized drone flying around the house. That's a pretty cool AI tool. It's actually creating a nerf of the interior of this house to sort of create this stabilized look as you're walking around the house. So that's one that I think is really, really cool for real estate. There's also like virtual staging stuff. If I go to future tools again, there are AI tools that do like staging. Did I spell staging right? I don't know. If I just search real estate, what comes up? Architect Render, Realty Genius, a real estate assistant to help with securely manage and collaborate on projects. Listing copy, a tool to generate a description for real estate listings, a tool to generate floor plans. I would seriously just go to future tools, type in real estate and see what pops up and start clicking through some of these tools. Interior AI, that's one that's good for sort of virtual staging. You take a picture of a room and it'll sort of arrange furniture and put window coverings and things like that. Let's see. Why can't I scroll back up? For some reason, it's not letting me scroll up to see previous questions. OBS, don't fail me here. Trying to see some of your questions here. Yes, mods are needed. I agree. The people that are posting the same question 200 times, I'm just kind of ignoring you because it looks like spam. Can I actually boot people? I don't even know how. Yep, we'll have moderators for future things. This was all just a test. So Midjourney, let's see, what are... my scroll is not working on my comments here. Let's see, what tool is your favorite for PBR material creation? I'm not familiar with PBR material. When I think of PBR, I think of Pabst Blue Ribbon. How can we change the face expressions on a photo? For that, I would use something like Generative Fill. So if I go back to like Photoshop, I could, sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't, but I can do something like this, click Generative Fill and just do mouth closed, smiling, and then click Generate. Sometimes you got to generate a whole bunch until you get something that actually looks good. Love my teeth on that one. You could get different expressions by doing that. If I just keep on regenerating, eventually I'll get one that looks good, that I don't, look like I've only got 4 teeth. Let's see, what else? What's your thoughts on income solutions as more jobs get replaced with AI? I don't personally have a lot of thoughts around that, if I'm being honest. I know people have talked about universal basic income, but that obviously comes with its own set of challenges and problems as well. That to me is one of those hot button topics that I have mixed feelings on both ways. I think humans are really creative people. I think if a lot of jobs are replaced with AI, humans will find other ways to provide value to the world, and those will become the new jobs of the future. People learning how to better use AI will become, more important. It's really, really hard to say. That's one of those things where I don't really want to get too much into it. I want to see how things play out. I think there's been a lot of jobs over the years where tools have come along, disrupted those careers, and humans still figured out new jobs to fall into to figure out how to sustain themselves. So I do think that humans are creative and humans will figure it out. And I feel underqualified to answer where that might go. I think as a content creator, it even scares me, because what's stopping people from creating automated YouTube channels that just, create AI news video breakdowns without the need for a human? I think people will still seek the human feel. They'll still seek the human opinion, the human touch to those videos. So hopefully, I think people will still seek out content that wasn't AI generated. But I mean, it's going to be disruptive to even content creators like me. And I honestly don't have answers there yet. But I do think it will work out for the best for humans in the long run. Let's see. How do you make your own game art style in Unity or Blender? I haven't really made a lot of my own game art styles yet, but if you check out Leonardo, they're actually really, really good for game art generation. If you come over to Leonardo here and we click on fine-tune models, they actually have models for pixel art, battle axes, magic potions, amulets, isometric sci-fi buildings, crystal deposits, chest armor, magic items. This was actually a tool that was originally designed to create game assets using AI. So that's probably the first tool I would be looking at. Another really good one that does this kind of stuff is scenario.com. This one is designed to create game assets as well, and they actually have a direct Unity plugin. Their pricing is a little bit higher than something like Leonardo, but they also do this. So those are two tools that I would look into if you're looking to create game assets. What mic are you using? I am using an Elgato Wave 3 mic right now. It's about $100 microphone. How did I get into AI? I already actually talked about that. I've been talking about AI because of my podcast since 2021. Started getting into it in 2022 and making videos about it. And I just got more and more into it, going down the rabbit hole more and more. And the videos started to get popular, so I just decided to go all in on it. But I give a much more detailed breakdown on that earlier in this live stream. So my plan here is to go for about 20 more minutes. So if you guys have more questions, sorry about all the spam and all of the people posting the same question 100 times and things like that. We will get a moderator for the next one. Again, this was just a sort of experiment. I didn't know what was going to happen when I went live. My sort of right-hand man who's helping me with this type of stuff, his name's John. You'll find him in the Discord as Craze in the Dark. He's on vacation right now, so he's going to be helping me out on future live streams with a lot of the moderation and stuff like that when he gets back. But right now, I'm just kind of winging it and doing this all myself. So I'm kind of trying to keep up with the questions and show off stuff on my screen at the same time. I'm having a good time just answering questions. I don't know if this is enjoyable or entertaining to people, because again, I just feel like I'm rambling, but it's one of those things where I always forget what I know until people ask me questions about them, right? Like I want to go and make YouTube videos and I go, what should I make a YouTube video about today? And I'll think, well, I can make a video about how to generate this type of image in Stable Diffusion. And in my head, I've been using Stable Diffusion for so long, I just think, everybody already knows that. I don't need to make a video about that. But then I forget, not everybody already knows that. Just the people in the little bubble of people that I talk to frequently know about that. So live streams like this are really helpful for me because I can see what types of questions you have that I don't already think are, easy questions or whatever, because the bubble of people I talk to every day already know this stuff, right? Like I think about Midjourney and I go, everybody already knows Midjourney. I don't need to talk about that. People already know about ChatGPT. I don't need to talk about that. And it's just kind of, you forget what you know. You forget the sort of depth of knowledge around some of this stuff. So when you ask questions, if I've got answers for it, this live stream is an awesome way to do it. Let's see. YouShare says it's a tough subject, but humans always find a way. I agree. Let's see. Jordan Brown. Not sure if someone has asked, but great website builders and places to get free or cheap web pages. Mixo is a really good tool. I've messed with that one a little bit. Durable is a really good tool to build websites. If you're looking specifically for AI, those are AI website builders that I've messed with in the past. I don't use an AI website builder. My website's built on Webflow. I built it myself. I literally watched a whole bunch of YouTube tutorials about how to build on Webflow one weekend, and that's what I built my website with. But I have used Mixo for landing pages. I've messed with Durable. I've helped other companies set up websites using Durable because they're really great for like business websites. Let's see, Anthony says, how do you future-proof yourself? Yeah, I think everybody should be thinking about how to future-proof themselves. My way of future-proofing myself is just stay on the pulse of everything that's happening in the technology world and where things are advancing. And the more I stay on top of it, the better I can predict what's coming next and sort of try to get in front of it. Let's see. Don't give away too many secrets. What do you predict will be the next big buzz in AI tools? Do I have a forecast? So I think we're going to see the AI video generators get better and better. Just looking at what AI video generators were 6 months ago to now having things like Runway Gen 2 and Pika Labs and stuff like that. That's come a long way really, really fast. Gen 2, you can now generate up to whatever it is, 12, 16-second videos with AI generated videos. So that's gotten really good. I think we're going to see some rapid improvements in AI generated video. I also think AI in healthcare, I've talked about this on a few of my YouTube videos. I think AI with healthcare is going to really, really ramp up. I think we're going to see a lot of really cool stuff come out there. I also, putting my tinfoil hat on a little bit, I do think there's going to be healthcare companies out there that profit off of healthcare not advancing as quickly as it could. So I can see some lobbying against AI in the healthcare and that being a very contentious topic over time. Other AI stuff that I think we're going to see a lot pop up in the world of augmented reality and virtual reality. I think early next year when the Apple Vision Pro comes out, their sort of mixed reality headset comes out. I think we're going to see a huge buzz around mixed reality and people using AI to generate stuff for mixed reality. I think that's going to be a big wave that we're going to see as well. Let's see. More tutorials. I like to see how the tools are used. I appreciate that. Just being totally honest, I get in my own head about that stuff. Like, do I make more tutorials? The news videos are the ones that get the views. So maybe I should make more news videos. I love making tutorials. Tutorials are probably my favorite videos to make, but a lot of times the tutorials don't get the views. So it's just this sort of constant question of, do I make videos that get the views? Do I make the videos that I want to make? Do I make the tutorial videos that I think are super helpful? So it's just a constant balancing act. I find myself just doing them all, right? I make news videos on Fridays. That's sort of a consistent thing that I'm just going to keep up with now is Fridays or Saturdays, put out a video around news. And then other than those end of week news videos, I'm going to mix it up between videos I want to make and fun tutorials and showing off cool tools and all that kind of stuff. But, the more feedback I get from people on videos like this and the more questions I get, the more helpful it is on figuring out what videos to make next. So, doing live streams like this will probably start to become part of my process because you guys are asking some amazing questions that are really going to help me make more videos in the future. You're helping me hone in on what I should be making content around. Falcon Lord says, what type of AI do you wish someone would create that you haven't seen yet? I'd love to see more around actual video editing, right? There's a lot of video creator tools like the Gen 2 and InVideo and stuff like that. I would love to see a tool where I can upload a whole bunch of video footage. It takes all that footage and sort of clips it up for me and like edits that together. Almost like what InVideo does with stock footage. It would be really cool for me to take a whole bunch of video that I shot. Let's say I was at the SIGGRAPH concert, and I shot 20 hours worth of video at that conference. If I was able to take all of that footage, upload it to a server in the cloud somewhere, and then upload like a narrated script, like here's my experience with the SIGGRAPH conference, it can analyze what's in that video, analyze the script, and then take my video and figure out where it should go in the script. That's a tool that I wish existed. I don't know if that technology exists to make that kind of thing. I feel like all of the video content would need to be sort of tagged somehow. But if that existed, that would be mind blowing to me. That's something I wish I had for my own sort of creative process, because I film a lot of video that I don't know what to do with the video after I film it. I just film it going, I can use this in a video somewhere in the future. And then once I have it on my hard drive, don't know what to do with it. Let's see. You should look around for this video editor. Yeah, I agree. I want to find that. What do you think of Ahmad Mustak's work? I mean, I think what he's doing over with Stability AI is really good. I mean, it's interesting because I think a lot of people think of Ahmad as the guy who created Stable Diffusion, but he didn't. He created Stable Diffusion, I think, 2.0, which is the one that most people don't actually use that much. Stable Diffusion 1.4 and 1.5 were the ones that were used the most. Stable Diffusion 2.0 came out, which was one of the ones that I believe Ahmad and Stability AI were behind, but nobody really likes Stable Diffusion 2.0. But I think Stable Diffusion XL is amazing. I think what they've done with SDXL is amazing. You know, with Clip Drop, they seem to be going and acquiring a whole bunch of cool tools and sort of putting them all together in a single place on Clip Drop. You know, if I come over here to Clip Drop again, you can see all their various tools, you know, clean up, upscaler, relight, remove background, reimagine, stable doodle, text remover, uncrop, all of this kind of stuff. I think he's going in and rounding up a whole bunch of cool tools that, you know, deserve to all be in one place. So I think he's doing a really good job there. I also think he's a really, really, really smart person. If you listen to his interviews on like Peter Diamandis' podcast, or he's done some interviews on Real Vision, some of those interviews are really, really good. And like where he sees the future going, I think is really, really fascinating. So I think he's a really, really brilliant person. If I'm being honest, I probably shouldn't say this on a live stream, but I also think he gets a little too much credit for some of what Stable Diffusion is, because there was a lot of people that went into the creation of Stable Diffusion, but I think Ahmad and Stability AI get a lot of the credit for it. Let's see. The comments are moving faster than I can keep up with. Do you think you'll start showcasing AI tools in the business world, not just based on art and creativity? That would be incredibly useful for a new audience. I've done that in the past. I have one called my second brain, or how I use AI as my second brain, or something like that. That one I think is really focused around productivity. Let's see, let me just search brain. My AI second brain to make life easier. This one I think is very, very helpful to businesses. I have a single AI prompt, built this entire website. That one shows how I built a website with AI. Here's the one about making money selling AI images on Adobe Stock. So I do talk about that stuff from time to time. Here's another one, actually, how I automate my website with AI tools. This one only has 20,000 views, but I think everybody who watches it goes, oh man, that's, you know, that's some cool behind the scenes automation that's going on. That's basically shows how I run future tools using AI. So I definitely talk about that from time to time. But again, it's just that kind of, I need the questions to make the videos with answers. And sometimes I don't know what questions to answer on my videos, if I'm just being totally honest with it. Let's see. Webflow versus WordPress versus custom code. Personally, I use Webflow, although I used WordPress for over a decade. The reason WordPress frustrated me because literally every time I'd log in, I can log in one day, update all my plugins, update my theme. I log in the next day to make a post and it tells me I've got updates again. And then I run all the updates. And then the next day I would log in and 3 of the plugins would need updates again. And I was getting so frustrated. And I know there's like tools behind the scenes that automatically update the plugins, but every once in a while, one of the plugins will break the site. So I never liked running these auto plugin tools to update them automatically, because if one of them broke the site, sometimes I wouldn't notice it for 12 to 24 hours that my site was broken or one of my plugins wasn't working because of an auto update. So all of the updates that WordPress required all of the time is really what frustrated the heck out of me for WordPress. And one of the biggest reasons I moved to Webflow. I felt I felt like Webflow was really good if you wanted to create a site that like filters tools and has like really cool sorting options and stuff like that. So I've stuck with Webflow, but Webflow gets really damn expensive once you get a lot of traffic. So Webflow has its downsides as well. Let's see, thoughts on Midjourney 6 and their web-based tool. I haven't seen it yet. Hard to have thoughts on it. It is interesting. I was on an office hours for Midjourney probably 3 months ago, where they said version 6 is only like a week away. And here we are 3 months later. And now they're saying they don't have a release date. So I'm looking forward to the web-based tool, though. I think that'll be cool. I have a feeling once the web-based tool opens up, they're going to figure out how to do free trials again, so more people can test Midjourney. I'm looking forward to that. But thoughts on Midjourney 6? I think it's going to be really cool. I think they're going to, David always talks about how there's more room to make the images even more realistic. So I'm really excited about that. But again, I haven't seen any of the outputs from it yet, and they keep pushing out the release date. So I'm not quite sure what to expect there. Let's see, so much help. Appreciate you guys. Kitty, thank you. How long do you take to create a tutorial? It depends. Some of my tutorials have taken me days to create. Some of them have taken me a half hour to create, and then I pass it to my editor and they clean it up. I still do a lot of editing myself. I would say my editor edits between 1 and 2 videos a week, and then I edit at least one of my own videos per week because I still like editing. I enjoy it. I think part of the creative process for me is in having fun with editing. So if I'm editing it myself, it takes longer than if I pass it to my editor. But the time it takes is all over the place. I would say the average video is probably 1.5 to 2 hour process for me, and then I pass it to my editor to finish it up. Let's see. Ooh, so many questions. I'm a pro documentary film editor, and I've been curious when AI will do that kind of editing you were just talking about, understanding the content and using your own footage. Not quite there yet. I agree. It's not there yet. I do use a tool called, it's made by this company, Searchy. But what is the actual Wisdom by Searchy? This tool is really cool because you can upload a whole bunch of videos and it transcribes all the videos and makes all of the videos searchable. So it's kind of like a database of all of your videos. That's cool to kind of help you find the videos, but it doesn't really help with any of the editing process. It just kind of helps you search out the videos you've created. Let's see. If I want an AI to sound like me, how would I do that? Training or tuning or vector database? If you want it to sound like you, like audibly, you would use something like 11 Labs. If you want it to generate like the way you talk, you'd probably do that with like fine tuning. But you could do that with prompting, honestly. If you want it to just like write responses that are the way you speak, you can go to something like Anthropic or ChatGPT, upload an article you wrote and give it the prompt. The above article is the way I talk. From here on out, write responses in a similar way. So honestly, prompting is probably the easiest way to do it. You can fine tune a model to talk just like you as well, but that's a lot more of an in-depth process as well as a lot more expensive to do. But prompting will actually get you there. AI day mode or night mode? I use night mode. I use dark mode for everything as much as possible, which I know how ironic that is since I don't have a dark mode on Future Tools, but that's the next feature I'm adding to Future Tools. I'm having somebody create a dark mode for me on Future Tools right now. All right, I'm gonna hang out for about 5 more minutes because I feel like I'm gonna lose my voice pretty soon. What else do we got? I love this though. I love doing these like AMAs. If you guys like this kind of AMA thing, I could probably do this like once a week. These are fun. Probably won't be around long, but I saw you're streaming. Keep it up. Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it. Ice Bear homie, what should I do if I'm trying to make a big video game but no funding and lacking some experience in Blender and Unity? Honestly, probably watch a bunch of YouTube videos about it and ask ChatGPT. you know, I made a video game using ChatGPT. That's one of the videos that I made in the past. Right now, I'm working on another video, but it's a longer process because there's so much learning I'm doing in the process about actually generating games with Unity and with Unreal Engine. Those are things that I'm playing with, trying to figure out. But a lot of it is just asking ChatGPT, how do I do this? And then looking up YouTube videos on how to do that. And that's kind of my process right now. As far as lack of funding, it's not something you really need a lot of funding for, honestly, at the moment. It depends on like how big you want to go. If you're trying to make like AAA quality, AI is not there yet. You're not going to be making any sort of like AAA quality video game purely with AI, without storytellers, without graphic designers. It's not going to get you there yet. But if you're trying to create something simple just to kind of figure out what you can do with it, both Unity and Unreal Engine are free to use. You can generate assets with something like Leonardo for free using the free tier models. You can use ChatGPT. Even the free GPT 3.5 will get you a fairly decent way to some of the code type stuff that you would need. You can have ChatGPT or Anthropic write a lot of the storyline elements for you. So you don't really need a big budget. You can always, and you can also crowdfund too. Indiegogo, Kickstarter, show the concept of the game you want and see if people will help you crowdfund it. That's a way to do it as well. Hey, thanks, Driver Sensei. Let's see. What did you say? You had an issue with 11 Labs, kept generating a script, and the download symbol didn't pop up, kept burning credits and no download button. Yeah, so 11 Labs, it's a UI thing that I don't really like. And I agree with you on this, that the UI could be better on something like this. So if I generate an image with the Matt Wolfe voice here and I just say, hello, please subscribe to Matt Wolfe, and I generate this.
Hello, please subscribe to Matt Wolfe.
I don't know why it used that voice. That didn't sound like me at all. I'm going to go ahead and use the 11 English here and whatever. I don't need to change it. That didn't sound like me at all. You can see there's a download button here, but it doesn't always show up for some reason. And if it doesn't show up, what you do is you come up to history, and then over on history, you can actually select it and then click download selected. Most of the time it does show up like I just showed you down in this bottom right corner, but I have had it where it doesn't show up for me. And when it doesn't show up for me, you can just find it in the history. It's a dumb, yeah. I think hopefully it's showing up more often, but again, history will get you to the download as well. Let's see. Let's see. Are you Canadian? Sorry to ask such a personal question. I don't think that's a personal question at all. No, I'm in the U.S. I was born and raised in San Diego, California, and I moved away from San Diego for 3 years and moved back. So I live in San Diego in California. Do you think prompt engineering will be a big subject to study because it's becoming more and more easy and short prompts to generate more advanced assets? I don't think prompt engineering is going to be a big thing. I think it's a big thing for this sort of window in history right now. I do think coders and things like that will need to learn prompt engineering. If you're trying to build AI tools, prompt engineering will be helpful, but prompt engineering will be more the underlying pipeline where people enter a basic prompt. Your tool that you develop as a software developer does the prompt engineering underneath, and then you get an output. So I think prompt engineering will be more of a skill like coding is a skill than it'll be something that anybody who wants to generate something with AI will need to learn. That's just sort of my guess on where it's going to go. Let's see. AI art image universe. Welcome from Scotland. You're the undisputed champion of AI. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Are you planning a video about coding with AI like GitHub Pilot and other support, including GPT Engineer? Probably. When I start messing around more with showing how I'm making video games with AI, I will probably be showing off tools like GitHub Copilot, Amazon Code Whisperer. We now have Llama 2 code. I'm probably going to play with a lot of those to see which one generates the better code for things like C++ and C#, which are the coding languages underneath Unreal Engine and Unity. What would you say is the worst AI image generator? There's this one called Crayon that I used to use early on, Craiyon. It's horrible. It's pretty bad. Now they'll never sponsor me, but oh well, it's horrible. If I was just to do like a wolf and click draw, it's not really great. It's one that I made a video about, like, I don't know, a year ago, as one of the cool AI art tools that you can play with back when AI art was in the early days. Now when you compare it to what other things do, yeah. Also, I think this user experience with all of these ads popping up everywhere is horrible. There's a reason, like, almost not a day goes by where somebody doesn't email me and say, why don't you put ads on future tools? It's because I hate this user experience. Like, all these ads popping up, slowing down the load time, all of this crap. Like, I hate it. If I hate it on other people's websites, why the hell would I do it on my website? I'm actually very much more impressed with these Wolfe images than I thought they would be. They must have improved their model a little bit, because these are getting a little bit better. These are not as bad as I thought they were going to be. So I apologize, crayon.com. Appreciate that. Let's go Warriors. I like the Warriors too, because I'm in San Diego and I don't have a basketball team. So Warriors are awesome. But he says, hey, Matt, great stuff for the lives. I have 165,000 subs and do a lot of lives. Found all my moderators via the comments. Over time, you will meet regulars you trust. So tip for you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm definitely hoping to have some moderators for future live streams, because I'm having fun doing this. I'm already actually going overtime a little bit. So I'm going to wrap it up in a couple minutes here. Any last minute AMA sort of questions, happy to talk about my YouTube channel or my thoughts on AI stuff. Don't always have the answers, but I love pretending like I do. I'm seeing a lot of questions that I actually answered earlier on in the live stream. So after this live stream, I will go back through and add some chapters to it, some timestamps, so people can find some of the topics. Somebody said, would love a comparison of DALL-E, Leonardo, and Midjourney. I actually got you covered there. If you look through my videos, check out, where is it? This one right here. I made the same image in every AI program. Go check that one out. I use DALL-E, I use Scenario, I use Stability AI, Leonardo, ClipDrop, Night Cafe, Canva. I used them all. So that one I compare a lot. What is the best AI tool for 3D model generation? I talked about that a little bit. I use Common Sense Machines for that kind of stuff. What is it? 3D.csm.ai. But I did talk about that one a little bit earlier as well. Let's see, traffic transmission. Before you go, I figured out you can only use Midjourney on Discord. Still trying to figure out how to use it. Any chance of a tutorial? AIs you use in video creations off platforms like Discord. Yeah, definitely just check out the channel. There's a lot about AI art. In fact, I started doing playlists. So if you come over to playlists here, some of these are my own personal playlists here, but if you come over to playlists, you've got a Midjourney playlist, a Stable Diffusion playlist, a AI generative art playlist. Check out the channel. There's a lot. So if you check out this AI generative art playlist, these are all the various like tutorials and discussions I've had about the various AI art tools. I'm accidentally rearranging it right now, but yeah, check out that playlist there. That will show you a lot of the tutorials I've made in the past about the various AI art tools. I actually, let's see. Leon so says, do you think maybe it's time to use tools as a Blender or other tools for making 3D models? I do have Blender. I'm still trying to learn it. I don't know it super well. I've played around with it because I just want to pull some of the other models that I've made with it in. But yeah, I definitely am trying to learn Blender. Do you think Midjourney will get better with text and typography anytime soon? Yes, they've talked about it on their office hours. They are working on improving text, so I think possibly Midjourney version 6 will have better text, I would imagine. Let's see. Great ideas. Making a weekly challenge with themes and get input. Let's see. See, what kind of PC on desktop do you recommend for a beginner? Really, the only thing you need to really focus on is graphics card. So you want to get a computer that probably has like an NVIDIA 3060 or better. If you can get, if you can afford a 3090 or a 4090, that would be ideal. You'll be able to generate almost anything you want with one of those. But I would recommend going with like some sort of NVIDIA graphics card that's like a 3060 or greater. Jason, I'm reading your comment. I was walking around New York about a month ago and I ran into someone that looks like you and we almost had a full-on brawl. I promise it wasn't me. I haven't been to New York since 1999. True story. Also, I'm in San Diego as well. That's awesome. What are your thoughts on Night Cafe? Night Cafe is pretty good. I do break down it on that one video I just showed about exploring all the various AI tools. I still prefer to go to Leonardo or Midjourney most of the time, but Night Cafe is pretty decent. Driver Sensei, thanks to you two for introducing me to you. I've been immersed since the first video I saw, made three AI channels and use AI with my drone business because of your vids. Thanks a lot, Matt. That's awesome. I just recently got into drones. I got a DJI Mavic Mini 3, which I absolutely love flying. I'm constantly looking for like new reasons and excuses to go out and fly my drone. It's sort of like become a hobby of mine, is just finding creative places and creative uses of the drone. Awesome, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start to wrap this up. I'm just going to skim through the last few questions here, but I probably won't take any more questions that aren't already in the chat, just because I could probably do this until I could probably do this for like 5 hours and just keep going because this is so much fun. But I do actually have another call later today that I got to prep for. So I'm going to start to wind down, but let's see what the last few questions are here. Traffic Transmission says, wonder what your breakdown of viewers is. I'm from Oz. Who are your biggest viewers in terms of countries? Would it be US or something else? Yeah, so it is US, UK, Canada. I have a lot of viewers in India. India seems to be big on this channel. And Germany. Germany's up there as well. Australia is up there, but it's probably not top 5, interestingly enough. Muser1, thank you. Forever grateful. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning into these. Liberac Production says 8 gigabytes of RAM or better for that computer. And specifically, I would aim for an NVIDIA. AMD definitely slower, even if it is, the same amount of RAM. I have an RTX 2060. Would it be enough for Stable Diffusion? I'm not sure. What does the RTX 2060 have in it? RTX 2060, 12 gigabytes. Yeah, that would probably run it, honestly. I would give it a try. I think you'd probably run it on a 2060. Okay, let's see. Is Leonardo free to use? They do have a free tier, but some of their features are paid. So There are free and paid features on there. I had a Wonder Dynamics question that I already asked. I already answered a Wonder Dynamics question. I wonder if it was the same question. I don't really use it very often. It's one of those tools that I use when I have a specific use case for it, but I don't use it all of the time. Gonzalo Garcia, you're a great YouTuber. Watch every video. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's so cool. I've noticed ChatGPT often recommends coding unconditionally. Could you share balanced thoughts on cases where focusing on coding may not be advisable despite its benefits? I'm not sure I follow the question. I'm not personally a coder, so a lot of the coder questions are going to be interesting because I don't know a lot of code myself. I know HTML, I know CSS, I know a teeny bit of JavaScript, but I only know a little bit of JavaScript because I made a video game with ChatGPT, and so I learned a little bit of JavaScript in the process. But I don't really know coding, so what I tend to do when it comes to coding is I have something like ChatGPT generate code for me, and I plug in the code into Visual Studio. I try to run the code. If it doesn't work and it gives me an error message, I go to ChatGPT and say, here's the error message I got. What do? It fixes my code. I copy and paste it back into Visual Studio Code. If it doesn't work again, I go back to ChatGPT, tell it the error message, see if it can solve it. I literally do that process back and forth until I get what I want out of the code. So coding questions, I'm not going to be great at answering yet, but I will probably learn quite a bit about coding in some of the process of some of the videos I'm working on. We'll have to make sure we boot the CY Roxas. They're just they were spamming, and now they're saying I respected them because of augmented intelligence or something. I don't even know what they're talking about. Is Leonardo free to use? I already mentioned, yes, they have a free tier and a paid tier. Just kind of wrapping up the last few questions here. Tiger Cub Media, I'm an avid fan. Thank you. Great live stream. Nice stream from you, Cher. Gerald Pink, greeting from Puerto Rico. Awesome. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, Leonardo is paid and free. Let's see. Got people here from Peru. Not just Peru, but Peru. Doing a video on character consistency. I've done a few videos where I've talked about it a little bit, but I can definitely deeper dive on it. You know, the process is different depending on the tool you're using. Awesome. So it seems like, I'm just reading some of these questions. Some of them are pretty funny. Code interpreter is pretty helpful. Played with it, was super helpful, and fixed a CSV file easily. That's basically what professional developers do now. That's what I heard as well. Controller command, thanks. Appreciate you. I hope you don't curse ChatGPT like what I do when I'm coding. Yeah, depends on how many times I have to go back and forth. Digital foods with QR codes for robots. Keep it up. Thank you. Thanks for the time. A real fan from Sweden. This is so cool. This is so much fun. I definitely should do this more often. I'm definitely in my head about it because I feel like I'm looking over here for like most of the video, and when I'm not looking at the camera, I feel like I'm not interacting very well. So I'm very in my head about this. I don't have any problem doing live streams. They don't make me nervous. I just want to make sure that everybody's entertained and getting what they want out of these live streams. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to do them. But if you guys are enjoying these live streams and you're finding them helpful, I'll definitely do more often. Traffic transmissions from Melbourne, and it's friggin' cold. Will you review any of the girlfriend, boyfriend AI bots? Well, I haven't really played with any. I'm married, so I got my own version already. But I haven't really played around with them. Maybe I'll play with them. I don't even know, how to test them. Let's see. You ever prompted Midjourney art looked like it was done in a certain kind of lens or film stock. Yes, I have. I've got videos on that as well, how to make them more realistic. If you watch the video about how to use Midjourney to make realistic images, I talk about different lens styles and ISOs and f-stops and things like that. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks Ron Chamberlain, Ryan Bonaparte, GB195, Jorge Nuno Bravo. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see, you've got an OBS tutorial recommendation. Is that a question, or are you telling me you have a recommendation? Because if you have a recommendation, send it over. I've been trying to figure out how to do these better. I can do this. Like, check out this magic. Oh, and as I say that, it doesn't work. There we go. I can move myself between the sides of my screen with just a button press, and I can hide myself. So I did get that far with it. But yeah, definitely want to learn how to do more cool stuff with OBS. Awesome. Driver Sensei, the formula for Midjourney is what you use daily. So cool. Great stream. Keep it up. Thanks, Mardo. Don't worry too much about the live stream. You're doing great. Appreciate that. Yeah, I love answering questions. I feel more comfortable sitting here answering questions than I did even walking through my YouTube tutorial. So if people just like the let's just go live and talk, I'm fine with that. That's fun for me. The sort of let's chat style video is awesome. Yeah, my YouTube videos have been part of your morning routine. That's awesome. I'm definitely going to start ramping them up again. I was at several conferences. I went to Augmented World Expo, and then I was at SIGGRAPH, then I was at the Artificial Conference. I went on like 7 different podcasts and was having a bunch of calls with different sponsors. And then I kind of went, man, I'm starting to do a lot of stuff, and my YouTube videos are slowing down. I've only posted 2 videos a week when I was used to posting 5, and I've cut like everything else out. I've got an NVIDIA conference thing that I'm doing at the end of this week, and once that's done, I have cleared my calendar to just focus on content and doing live streams and research and just kind of working on content and helping people out. That's what I love. That's what I want to be doing all the time. Baby OBS steps. Yep. What else? If you could create scenes in OBS, what would be the best way to send them to you? Jump into the Discord, because I am in the Discord. When people tag me in the Discord, I jump in and try to respond. I at least read everything I'm tagged in inside the Discord. If you head over to futuretools.io/Discord, we've got 10,599 members in there. And I do read anything that I'm tagged in. So if you tag me, that's probably one of the best ways. You can probably DM me with it as well over on Discord. That's probably the easiest. Well, cool, everybody. That's, I think, going to be a wrap for me. I went about 20 minutes over what I was planning on doing. If you like these, I'll probably do one again either next week or 2 weeks from now. Maybe I'll make it like a Monday tradition. I don't know. We'll see. What do you guys think? Should I do this kind of thing? Here's what I want to know. Should I do live streams where I'm doing like tutorials and showing off my process for making images like I did with the YouTube images? Or should I just jump on and freestyle? You guys ask questions, and as you ask questions, I pull up different tools and show off, what tool I would do to do different things, and just kind of weekly live AMA showing you how to do the stuff you ask, because that's also fun. Yep, this is the longest 5 minutes ever. I'm not very good at wrapping stuff up. What can I say? All right, username Gantz. I'll look out for it for sure. Sweet. Stream was fire. Appreciate it. Thank you. Good day, everyone. Hangouts are cool. Love the freestyle. Cool. Jumping in freestyle. Do both. Yeah, I think I like the idea of doing both. Having sort of a plan with a tutorial in the beginning. Once I'm done with the tutorial, see where things lead us. All right, everyone. Have a nice afternoon. Freestyle. Do everything. Awesome. Oh, cool, everyone. Freestyle format. All right, I will stay on here for another hour reading comments if I don't just wrap this thing up. So appreciate everybody here. DL Houston, Chad Crypto, Kevin McTarsney, Conrad, you share. Everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. I'll definitely do this again. So thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna up my OBS game. So next time, watch out. There'll be some more live stream skill going on, and should be an even more fun live stream. Let me know what kind of tutorials you want to see live that you think would be cool to see in real time. I'll figure out how to do those, and then from that point on, we'll just freestyle and see where we go from there. So thanks again, everybody. I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to stop looking at the chat now. I'll go read the chat after I hang up on this call so I don't keep on answering questions and stick around for another 2 hours and miss my next call. So thanks for joining the live stream. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. This is the first of hopefully many, and I'll see you guys in the next one.